What is up, ladies and gentlemen?
What's up, HTOWN?
Welcome to the Shock the World podcast. I'm your host, Harold Easton, here in the studio with...
well-rested, enjoy the game, Tim Hanna.
Excellent.
Enjoyed too much of the game, Jameson Wadner.
There you go. Here to bring you your number one source for everything Houston Cougars. So we'll go ahead and get started on our recap for this SMU game. So if you guys haven't already figured out, maybe you're a new listener, we're posting out 2 videos a week, our recap from the week before and our preview of the week coming up. Unfortunately, we had too many rude SMU fans for our fan cams this week, so that is not out. We might be able to touch on that in a little bit, but overall, a very steamy, very interesting,
hot.
It was hot Saturday. We got started early. Good friend, brother of the podcast, had a birthday, and we got started.
Brother Wiley.
Got started at about 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then, so 11 to 6 was
that's a long day.
Right.
a drink fest. Pretty fun, though. In fact, it was so hot at one point, we had our crowd go at our tailgate, get huge, and then smaller because everyone was sweating so hard.
It was too hot.
Yeah, and we have a 30-inch industrial fan, and it wasn't doing nothing for anybody.
You know, my only gripe about us personally moving over from the lot where the indoor practice facility is over to the RV lot is that it's super, super hot. It's black asphalt as opposed to
that dark
white
asphalt.
concrete.
Yeah,
so
it does suck a little bit, but I mean, if you ask any big school, the RV lot is far away.
Oh, yeah.
But most RV lots are not like our lot. Our RV lot is a party lot. Party lots are closer to the stadium for other schools. So it's kind of...
It's a gamble. It's all new. Everybody will continue to learn. One of
I
the things
don't mind the location.
I actually really like the locations. Right by the architecture school.
Don't have to look at Scott Street.
That's true. True.
That's all really nice.
Trees.
Wish it was a little fuller. But you know,
I agree. It's just going to take time to sell those spots because it's a new lot for everybody.
Yep.
One of the good things from Saturday though is we got the win, boys.
we got the W.
We pegged SMU
And
35-22,
and we covered.
We did.
We covered.
I would like to double check over what our predictions were, but I think we were all pretty close on this one, at least to one of the scores.
Mitchell won.
Mitchell won?
Mitchell did win this one.
Good
he
job.
just barely beat
Because he was
me.
like 37, I remember.
Yeah, 37-13, I think is what he had.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Dang. 13?
Was it 13 or 20? No, it was 20. It was 20.
20?
He had 20.
Okay.
37-20.
Not 100% sure, but we were all still close to one of the scores, and I think we could all sit there and be happy about the fact that we let basically one of the nation's most prolific offenses score less against us than they did against
in the first half.
Who is a top 10 team, arguably maybe even a top 5 team coming in next week, and especially going in looking at playoffs, depending on how they play Oklahoma later on in the season. We won't get too deep into that, though. We're going to go back into our new segment that we've been doing, our good, the bad, and the ugly. And we'll go ahead and start with the ugly.
This was kind of hard to write for the first time since we started this.
There's not any
We've got
glaring
3 bullet
uglies.
points, and I really want to add one more bullet point. We'll go through these first.
There's no fuglies.
Yeah, there's no
fuglies.
There was when I started to put the notes together, there was none of them that were immediately like, bam, we have to talk about this. I was kind of like, yeah, I guess we could talk about that. Yeah, I guess that was pretty ugly.
Yeah, so one of those that was kind of rough was Kyle Postma's 2 INTs, but he got 2 touchdowns too. And a guy who was wrecking in the quarterback rating, Ben Hicks, he covered his quarterback rating by 20-something points.
So I will say that the 2 INTs came on long field bombs that we were just trying to flip the field position. So I'm not too terribly mad about it.
I will say those 2 plays were both questionable throws. Both of them were in double or triple coverage.
Yeah.
So I understand what they're doing. They think that – I think both of those were
Keith
one
Corbin.
of them was Dunbar.
One of them was first down.
One was to Keith Corbin, and the other one
was in the end zone to
Dunbar.
Dunbar.
Yeah.
And both guys who you would think would be able to extend and be able to get the play, but unfortunately their DBs were just too good.
Well, one of them was underthrown. One of them was underthrown. The other one the safety made the play on it, if I'm not mistaken.
Applewhite made some interesting comments on those picks, though. He did say like those were his calls, and then just talking about how Postma is going to progress as a quarterback.
Sure.
Instead of him, that was a call, but instead of just sticking with it and knowing that it's not going to be a good play, throw the ball away.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather him. He verbatim. He said, "I'd rather him come back to the huddle. Applewhite, that was a terrible call. I threw it away. Let's go 2nd and 10 and move on."
Yeah.
Not try to force too much.
Gotcha. Yeah. I get that. But this has kind of been a theme since the very get-go with Arizona. I feel like there's something not clicking on the long ball more often.
I think our guys just want to hit the home runs so bad.
Right.
But they're forcing it.
But see, the problem is if we're going to keep on forcing this, it's going to work negatively in our favor in the worst possible way.
Just like you've been mentioning, we don't see anything long past 25 yards. We've got Dunbar for 22. We've got Postma for 22. We've got King for Postma for 22. And then King for 18, which was awesome. That was nasty.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that in a little bit. Next, we'll jump on, I guess, to another real big ugly was our attendance, man. I've heard all the BS that I need to hear. We need a 7:00 game, night game. This was a night game.
Good opponent, night kickoff. The Texans weren't in town, or it was a late Sunday night game. The soccer tournaments weren't going to be there playing until 6
I don't know what else to say.
We just don't have the fan support.
I think, but this was the win to kind of bring back.
I agree.
Some of those people. I feel that way.
Yeah, I do too. I
feel like our product has not been as good as it's been the past couple of years. You can take out the Tech game.
It hasn't.
It's not been as exciting. The hype has not been there. It's going to take a while to win it back.
I'll flip this over and say that this is some good news. I feel even as a hardcore Coug fan, I've felt that the hype for the team has been so low this year, and to me, honestly, to see that we're going to get a couple thousand going through the rest of the season, average fans. This average group, I think these are the diehard fans who are coming in every single week.
Well, the good news is
31,000.
Larger than what it was in 2014.
And that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's basically 6,000 or 7,000 more because we were jumping down to 14,000.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got 18,000 season ticket holders. You've got 6,000 students. That's 24,000.
Right.
Plus another 5,000 to 6,000
that are regularly occurring but aren't ready to pledge for season tickets. We lost a bunch of season tickets. So overall, the trend is going up. The alumni still need to come out and show out. We can think of a lot of people, though, that you just can't make every single game.
Right.
And when the team doesn't have that extra oomph, you're not like, oh, I got to make sure that I'm going to be
the average
there.
person.
Exactly. The average person, the average Coug fan. We don't have that fan base yet. We have to continue to keep winning to get there. But overall, the trajectory is going up, which I'll take.
Yeah.
It was disappointing for us as diehard Coug fans, but that's what we got.
Yeah.
And then Ed Oliver, kind of a bummer. Only at 75% this last week, but still ended up.
He's still damn good at 75%.
3 QB hurries,
and that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I was struggling with the ugly points. This is I guess I could say
3
that
3 QB hurries, 4 total tackles, with 4 of those being solo tackles. But man. And 1 pass deflection. So that was really impressive.
Yeah.
Dude, he chased down Cortland Sutton from behind.
Oh.
Yeah.
At 75%.
Yeah.
And Cortland Sutton didn't have the best game either.
Yeah.
The boy's cold.
Yeah, he did.
I have to double check on the
Sutton
stats.
went over 160 yards.
Yeah.
Maybe I was looking at the first half.
Sutton did pretty damn good. In fact, that's part of our.
He's always going to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, yeah. The last ugly I want to touch on before we can sort of jump onto the bad. The SMU fans. Man, I know Jameson and I were both triggered for a quick minute there. We were outside over in front of the area where the Cougars are. And, man, we were just, we tried to do our fan cams for you guys. Yeah. And we're sitting up there. We probably tried to interview, probably what?
A handful of people.
I'd say groups, 20 different people, 5 or 6 different groups.
Right.
And all of them were like, oh, no, I'm sorry, I don't want to be viewed. Or made some sort of snide comments like, we're going to kick y'all's ass. And then some group was like, y'all's education is really low at par. And the overall impression that I got from them was nothing more than I would expect from Dallas. I grew up I grew up in Dallas-Fort Worth. I grew up going to Thanksgiving and Christmas in Highland Park every single year. And I think that I just have now come to realize how much of an asshole maybe I was when I first came down here. But
no, you weren't that bad.
It
wasn't that bad.
They're really, really nasty people, and more of the same thing that we saw when we were up at SMU. But it shouldn't surprise you. Tech people and SMU people are all from Dallas. There's that. There's the common denominator. And before going too much into down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, we went down the rabbit hole real bad.
I was
Let it off your chest.
I was trying to hold back my comments just so I wouldn't like help with the digging.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. It got real ugly, but it's okay. That's how we feel. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk about the bad. So Ben Hicks torched us for 397 yards, almost 400 yards. Did have 2 picks.
Right. And that's kind
he's
of
going to get his.
Yeah, they have that offense that's going to get that. So it is a bad point that we gave up 397, but we also created turnovers
in the red zone.
In the red zone to combat that. So I'm okay with that. That's fine as long as we're coming up with the turnovers. You can't have that plus 4 touchdowns.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, your defense is never going to be perfect, but when they do get those yards, how they respond when they get into the red zone and can create turnovers and hold them to field goals and miss field goals. I mean, that's what wins you games.
It's funny that you mentioned that because if y'all go check out the preview, there's some really good stats about the red zone defense. And people will like that.
So next, 2 of SMU's wide receivers both had 150 yards and 1 touchdown.
Which is good because only Trey Quinn had that 1 touchdown. So we held Sutton without a touchdown.
That's what I remember. I was going over the touchdown records and I was numbers and I was like, why did Sutton not have one? But then I remembered they both had like nasty yards. Right. Sutton with 160. T. Quinn with 156, and then everyone else was kind of like meh.
I'll tell you what,
except for West with the 20.
Quinn is going to be another Amendola, another
Beasley, Cole Beasley from
another. I can guarantee you, Trey Quinn is going to be pretty sick
man.
for the NFL.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, and overall, I think we should just be happy. This goes in. I don't see this in our little group for the good. Super happy about the fact that Jack Boys came back this week.
Yeah.
Got to see some really nice plays.
Terrell Williams got Player of the Week.
Yep. Mm-hmm. We saw, I think, there were 2 or 3 other opportunities, too, for interceptions where that touchdown that he ended up getting was basically a tip drill.
Yeah.
He should have gotten that interception.
Yeah.
And unfortunately did not make it. But, that's just what comes with the territory. So next, we'll go on to the good. So we've been talking about a boy who's been kind of quiet this year.
You've made some
me specifically
disparaging comments.
Yeah.
You know what? I sat the entire game though eating crow, and I was excited as hell.
Was it
about
delicious?
The fact Duke Catalan was the boy this game.
He was finally the boy, the 4-star that we all wanted.
Duke showed up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He showed up.
I thought it was interesting though. Like he apparently went into him and Major had a meeting on Sunday or Monday this week, and he basically said, "I apologize. I'm going to do better. I'm going to work harder in practice." And then Major was like, "I know you will. And I know you're going to." And then he's like, so sure enough, I mean,
what's funny, now that you mention that, maybe he was one of the ones that he was mentioning, like, we're just not getting enough production out of people.
No,
from
he
his radio show.
Was.
Yeah.
No, he definitely was.
Yeah.
100%.
I agree with that.
So, really happy about that. 22 attempts for 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that nasty long for 52 yards.
He got out,
unfortunately
curled around.
Missed the last touchdown that he got. I missed 2 touchdowns that I was like completely would have been caught off guard by while I was in the men's room, unfortunately. But
thanks for
gotta hold it. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So if you need to catch Harold, catch him in the men's room.
Pretty much. That's what happens when the concessions are right behind you with lots of beer. But other of the good, Mobile Car too, back in the game playing and doing very well. 9 for 67 with a long 18.
What was that like?
He had some good runs.
6 yards of carry.
Yeah.
I was 7 yards, a little over 7 yards of carry. I'll take that. I'll take that any day of the week.
I was very happy to see him. We're thrown in the mix, and it seems pretty apparent that he's
math.
One more thing y'all need to watch is the post game when they interview the players.
Yeah,
and I think it was like Duarte asked just back on the Duke Catalan thing.
Yeah,
it's like, did you know? Like, did you see this coming? He's like,
oh yeah.
He's like, I mean, after that first play, he was like, yeah, I knew like we won't.
Because he got like a 12-yard gain on the first play. Yeah,
yeah. Like, oh my,
that's awesome. I think Yeah, I think the last guy we got to talk about is going to be De'Aaron King. This guy's a freak athlete.
Do it all.
In every freaking sense of the way.
Do it all,
King. Mr. Everything.
Yeah, Tavon Austin, another Tavon Austin, the other guy from Florida from a couple years back.
Yeah.
Basically, you need him to run the ball on a sweep, cool, he'll do that. You need him to catch a ball on a screen, cool, he'll do that. You need him to throw a touchdown to the other quarterback.
He can do that too.
That was amazing.
That was pretty.
I don't know if you
badass.
saw that. Oh my gosh. That was the one I didn't get to catch, and I had to go back and watch it. Him to Postma, seeing the reversal of them in their roles was awesome.
Apparently he dropped it in practice too during the week. Postman dropped
Really?
it. Yeah.
I remember seeing that and I was like, oh my God, Postman, go the outside. Go faster. Go. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Oh,
So
man.
cool. And then to wrap up with that, then we'll go ahead and do our dudes of the day. I think offense is probably
Give it to the boy.
self-explanatory. Duke Catalan is the boy this
Welcome
week.
back.
Gets it back. He's welcome back. And then defense. Oh my goodness gracious.
T-Will.
T-Will, but
hands down.
I think we got to talk about, Isaiah Johnson still got 11 total tackles.
But that kills me
and
that
solo.
our starting cornerback has 11 total tackles.
It's true.
That cannot be happening. That
I
has
know.
to go. What is it, like Adams only had 5 total tackles?
Yeah.
Like that's the. Now I will say this: they have a dynamic offense. They are going to get through that second level to begin with. They did get a little bit of push from their O-line, but for the most part, we handled their running backs and their wide receivers outside of obviously the two. We made the plays on the other two.
Definitely. And then, so we've got those two guys. And then on special teams, I think we have to commend Caden Novikov.
Yeah.
Came in, started off rough. Overall, right now, he's 5 of 7 so far. So,
But he hasn't missed any since that first game where he went 2 for 4, right? Or 1 for 2.
he went 1 for 2, and then the next game he went 1 for 2 as well.
Okay, so
against
since
Rice.
then,
Since
yeah.
then,
Okay,
he's made
that's
every
fine.
single attempt.
That's good.
I mean, thank goodness the SMU guy didn't. You never know how the game could have switched out if he made those 2.
Ooh, man.
That could have been bad.
You never know.
So, that's it for dudes of the day. And then overall, we've got odds and ends about the game. I mean, what do you guys have?
The one thing I specifically wanted to put in here,
Yes.
beer is now $8.50. I know you combated me and said it was that expensive last year.
I'm almost positive they were $8.
I'm going to go back to my Mint app and I'm going to look it up. Aramark, I have
use
because it
Mint
comes.
too? I
Yeah,
love
I
Mint.
love Mint. And
Yeah,
you should
same.
use Mint too and be good people that save their money.
We are not sponsored by Mint, but
We are
you can
definitely
please
not.
you can please become a sponsor.
Yeah, I think it was at least $7 or $7.25 a year ago.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was like, it's
I thought
$7.25.
it was always like 8 something.
No,
Yeah.
I
I thought it was 8.
Anyways, Aramark, you suck. That's a price of a 6-pack. That's ridiculous. That is
concur.
absolutely ridiculous.
What? I had the best
keep
service.
Our asses, excuse my language, in line.
Yeah, but I had the best service.
But sometimes it just
Yeah, I did
doesn't
have
work.
good service.
I had the best stadium service this game than I've ever had in my entire life.
with
The
Aramark
best guy-
people?
Did you
Yes.
go
Yeah.
to the far in line or the one next to him?
the middle guy to the left over by our section? He was amazing.
Middle guy,
Hands down
left.
to you. I can't remember your name. I asked your name. Hopefully you're working at the next time, and I will give you a shout out on the podcast.
I'm sure he cannot wait to hear that.
Another thing we have to commend, I think, there was last night. If you guys haven't noticed, I even had somebody mid-game was like, "Hey, dude, where's the Blaze?"
Yeah.
So if I'm
Yeah.
sure you guys know, if you're new Kook fans, there's a large siren that basically
Oil field
goes,
siren.
Yeah, that goes off into the corner of the stadium that the Frontiersmen go ahead and play on. You should be able to touch a little bit more on
Yeah,
that.
typically when you hear that in the oil field, it's bad. Like you
Yes.
need to run as far as you can away from everything.
It's
but
also kind of like a World War II
Shit's
like
hitting the
siren.
fan.
yeah,
here.
shit's
It's
in the fan of the
it's
oil
about to go
field.
down.
But back in 1989, Andre, the coach, and some other guy were like, we need something to unify the student body and know, like, that's our sign, that's us. And so they came up with the oil field siren because,
Right.
well, it actually had crashed by then. But that was the big thing of Houston was the
course.
oil field. So the Frontiersmen take it around. They go around campus. So it's all the students here and like, oh, my God, it's game day. It's time to go. They take it in the homecoming parade. They do it everywhere. And then they sound it off every time we score any field goal or touchdown. But unfortunately, the circuit board
Right.
super old and is discontinued. So they actually went on and did a GoFundMe and raised it. And it raised enough money overnight.
They're basically, I think
That's pretty awesome.
They're over their goal by
Yeah.
$1,800.
Yeah.
So they raised $4,800 right before I checked. Whenever we
Right.
came over here in basically a day. So
Right.
hats off.
Epic.
Shows that we've got the Kook fans that
Right.
care. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. With that, boom, done. We'll fix it. I wish we could have gotten it out there earlier, but hats off to the guys who went out and made sure that we could do the thing.
The problem with the frontiersmen in the university is the frontiersmen technically fall under the band.
Right.
But it's like a very loose agreement. It's not like...
It was kind of like me and Jameson when we both drove the helmet.
Drove the helmet.
I think that was its own thing, though.
Yeah, see, it's so like the university, the AD doesn't have technical control over it. It's kind of just the guys, and they just kind of pass it on through the years. So that's why there's no like chain of command of like, oh, you need to go to the alumni to do this or this, that, and the other.
Gotcha.
So
hats off to everybody who downloaded. I was going to originally say go ahead and or donated. Go ahead and click the link below. We'll go ahead and leave it there if the time limit's going out, and give them all the money that you can.
Yeah.
Next, I think we got to be super stoked about the trickery with the King and Postma.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier.
I think we can be. You should not be surprised if you see more plays like that, or at least more QB play from King.
Yeah. No,
and some interesting situations.
I don't know. I think you're going to see him in that situation. I don't think you're going to see him maybe in a Wildcat setting.
That's the only
occasionally.
I don't know. I don't see us doing that yet.
Yeah, I think that's a little too early. I think so. To me, when they scored that touchdown, I was like, we're already going to the toy chest for that?
Yeah.
Already? I was like,
That'd been planned.
Yeah.
That was set up all week.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think that's it for our game.
Get pegged,
fans. You guys are still assholes.
What he said. Okay.
Continue to
still salty.
Continue to thrive off of Daddy's money. We'll go ahead and jump on to the rest of the American Conference games.
Salt is still real.
Maybe.
Jesus.
But next the game, we're going to go ahead and cover around the American in 5 minutes. Let's try to do this as of 1, 2, 3, go.
This guy's telling us to keep it on 5 minutes.
Memphis versus UConn. Memphis wins 70-31.
Goo.
Sad Huskies.
Goo.
But in the first half of the game, it was actually pretty close. And then Memphis just completely ran away.
Well, in the first quarter. Memphis scores 28 in the second quarter.
Yeah, but
it's kind of over with at that point.
By halftime, you kind of...
Ferguson throws for 7 touchdowns. Ooh.
Yeah. That's a long day.
Boy.
You know, if you're UConn administration, you got to be looking around going, we brought this guy back, this guy.
I mean, honestly, you got to start talking about the ADs.
He was better than Bob Diaco.
Well, beautiful Bob
Diaco.
But Bob Diaco was at least like somewhat competitive in some of their games.
That's true.
They were competitive in the East. This is not competitive.
Well, maybe they because of Bob Diaco's doings
that's true.
They're not competitive.
Maybe they can bring Bob Diaco back when he gets fired from Nebraska.
Maybe Scott Frost hires him and takes him to Nebraska.
I hope not.
No, it's not
I don't think that would be allowed to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Cool. So next game, we're going to go ahead and talk about Temple at ECU.
Damn you.
Mofo.
Damn you, my Pirates.
Temple ends up winning 34-10.
I was a little bit surprised by this.
I could not believe.
March, he threw 300
I know.
yards.
I was like, so
it's how bad my Pirates are.
So in the preview episode, oh man,
those poor co-eds, they need some saving over there.
Oh,
shit's going down, mates.
Oh my God,
I shouldn't have said that.
You should not have said that.
What did you just say?
We are not repeating that. We are moving on.
Next, we'll go ahead and talk about Air Force at Navy. Navy ends up squeaking this one out.
Instant classic.
48-45, and this actually brings Navy into the top 25 coming into this next week. So
Navy's right there,
man.
It may not always be pretty, but they're going to get the job done.
And now they're ranked.
Exactly.
And now they're ranked.
All they do is win. Literally, all they do is win. Nobody talks about them. They're just like, all right, cool. See you later. We're going to score 60 points and 500 rushing yards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Next, I think most surprising game of last week, something we would have never predicted from the very beginning and something we were actually leading on to. I think Big Meech is on a roll here.
That's Mitchell.
If you'd given me
like drum,
like a multiple choice, have been like things that won't happen this year. You put that score, I've been like, oh yeah, that's for sure not happening.
No.
Yeah. Color me surprised.
Wow.
A lot surprised. A lot surprised.
Yes, goo. So next game we've got last of the week. UCF at Cincinnati.
Not shocked at all.
51-23. UCF was
at all.
ranked 25 going into this game. They end up popping up
The
a
game
couple
was
spots.
shortened.
Yeah, because of rain.
Yeah.
So it was shortened. They still put it 51.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was that same storm that hit Michigan, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
It's the same, all that same
Pretty
storm.
nasty.
All that. What was that? Hurricane? Whatever that
No,
was.
it wasn't a hurricane. It was a big like weather storm that swept from like the west coast to across.
Pretty much.
It wasn't
a
that
storm?
storm coming up from the Gulf?
It was
Okay.
a different one.
Never mind. Obviously, we're not weather people.
But I think this is.
But
I think,
we can be wrong, just
I
like
think,
weather people.
I think that we should be happy that we're not playing UCF in our regular schedule.
No, I'll always want to play a good team. I'd rather lose to a good team than struggle against a shitty
Well,
team.
I'm actually going to be interested to see how
We're
it
playing a
ends
good
up
team
playing
in
with,
2 weeks.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that happens when them and USF end up playing
Yeah.
and how they play with Navy as well.
I
Could
think
be really cool.
I think the winner of the UCF USF game has the front row driver's seat into the New Year's Six Bowl.
I agree.
Probably. We just got to go and show that we can
Yep.
whip
I
that
agree.
butt.
Yep.
So that's it for the American Conference for this last week.
We did it in 5 minutes.
We did it in almost exactly
I am
5
so
minutes.
proud of
I'm
everybody.
very
I am
proud of you guys.
shocked.
We're going to
Get
go
it?
ahead and
Get it?
we're going to go
Shocked.
ahead and go now around the world in Shock That World. God, I'm so bad.
I don't know, we're-
in 5 minutes.
Just stop.
We're
Just
gonna go-
read the script and just go with it.
I don't believe.
Stick to the script.
What's it saying?
We're doing
I
it
can't
live.
read it. What does that even mean?
I'm trying to improvise, man. Sorry.
This thing sucks.
All right, now we went on a tangent.
Yeah,
All right.
tangent boys. We're gonna
What
go
is it?
ahead.
Our 5 Fab or what is it? Michigan
Yeah,
boys.
Fab Five.
So
whatever.
I found out where I got it. XM with Chris Childers as the Fab Five. That's where I heard it from.
With my favorite coach of all time,
New Heisel.
New Heisel.
Yes.
He was.
So
He talked down on us today. I was not very happy about
lovely.
course.
What a classy
Wait, he said
human.
about U of H?
that. Yeah.
What did he say?
Yeah, with Oklahoma losing to Iowa State, Chris Childers was talking crazy and saying this is why you can't have nice things. You don't give nice things to a 34-year-old. And then he goes, well, Bob Stoops lost to U of H. And I was like, whoa, timeout. We were
You lost to U of H.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
At Robertson.
Yeah, exactly.
Get pegged, New
yeah,
Heisel.
see, that's why I was like, this mother
All you got to do is send him the clip of Michael Hayes just
Trucking
beast
them
moding
boys.
3
Pegging him.
boys.
Yeah.
Pretty
All
much.
right. All right.
Back on
Tangent
topic.
over.
Here we go. So we have game day starting off in the morning with number 23 West Virginia at TCU. I was actually quite surprised they did game day on campus. Had Tim McGraw. It was a beautiful sight. But this was a lot. This is a lot closer than I. This is a lot closer than I anticipated. TCU ends up
I know,
eking
I'm-
this one out, 31 over West Virginia, 24.
West Virginia's a scrappy bunch.
They are.
They've always been.
They've
Will
always been.
Greer's a badass
That
quarterback.
reverse pass I did to Hill was pretty sick.
My
though.
favorite sign was who has better hair, Scott Van Pelt or Dana Holgerson.
So
I'll probably go with Scott Van Pelt on that.
did you know
Brother.
that TCU PD and Tarrant County sheriffs were taking down SMU signs?
Wow.
Yep.
Wait,
They would not let SMU signs be
On TCU?
on TCU's campus. Yep.
good,
Good.
Yeah.
good.
Maybe
Don't
should have
feel
focused
bad.
on our game a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's just me.
Yeah. I don't know. So
Don't care.
that's that. TCU jumping up in the rankings. Next we have the Louisville game.
I watched
and
this.
NC State
Yeah,
game.
that was
This was
interesting.
I was working
kind of a shocker.
Greek Fest this night.
It's literally Lamar Jackson versus
They're
the
living,
world.
dying by him with, and they have no wide receivers.
yeah, but
Feel bad for their running back.
Stop. You did not. You name me one player on the NC State squad. Name me the head coach.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
look
think
at-
you did say NC State was going to
Yeah.
win, though.
I
did.
just
I think
like
NC State's going to be all right. They just still lost to South Carolina at the end of the day, and I
True.
can't get over that.
But South Carolina had an all right game this week.
yeah.
So
yeah, they still lost to A&M.
next.
No, that was Bama. That was 2 weeks ago.
No, South Carolina still lost to A&M.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But not this week.
Yeah.
So next we have our G5.
P6. Sir. No. Oh, they're not P6.
Yeah, they're not P6.
G5.
So they're G5. This is where I got
They're
switched up
G4.
last time.
G4.
They're G4.
G4. San Diego State at UNLV, as we anticipated, unfortunately, after the tragedies this past week. Pray for all the victims. Please donate blood where you can. San Diego State destroyed them 41-10. And
Rashad Penny.
we're going to have to
Dude.
hope that they lose.
That kid is a beast.
Luckily, after this week, we have 3 American teams ranked in the top 25. We'll
Yeah.
go over that more in the preview. And they're the only team in the rest of the G5 that is ranked.
Conference Tuesday's out.
Boise State looks like trash. BYU is absolutely terrible.
They're 1-5.
They're 1-5.
They're awful.
Yeah.
So I think.
Can we just stop covering Boise State though too?
Well,
we might. They're a threat.
No,
they could still be a threat.
And the only reason why we covered them is because of the whole San Diego State matchup.
They would have to beat San Diego State.
If they win, then we need to focus on San Diego or Boise State.
Yeah.
Correct.
Unfortunately.
Then next we have Boise State.
Speaking of Boise and BYU.
Beating BYU 24-7. We don't need to go too much more in depth with that, but I think we all just know that BYU is just not BYU anymore.
The Kalani Sitake, Ty Detmer combination of head coach and OC does not seem to be working at all.
Not at all.
And that's shocking because Ty Detmer helped them win the national championship.
BYU was really solid the last handful of years.
And they have a senior QB, Tyner Mangum.
Yeah, 1-5 is kind of
Is Bronco going to bring Virginia out from the dust? Or Virginia Tech? That's where
Virginia.
At, right? Virginia.
They're doing well.
I know. They're doing all right.
For Virginia, he's doing just fine.
Yeah.
So that's that. Next, we'll jump on to
Stop that voice. Whatever
Alabama.
that is.
Sounds like the MC at MC.
That's exactly what I'm going for. Oh my God. MC at MC. Only Houstonians will get that joke. Number 1, Alabama beating A&M at home 27-19. Aggies are taking this as a moral victory.
They're not taking an L. They're taking a moral W. That's what they're taking on this one.
Yeah.
Moral W.
Whatever. Dude.
I wish they got pegged even more than this.
Well, they were. At the second half, the beginning of the second half, they were losing 23-9 or something like that. Or 27-3.
It's not quite the pegging that
we
wanted
were
to ensue.
But that's okay. That's okay.
Right.
And then one that we don't have our list, I think we can all be kind of happy about, was OU losing to Iowa State. That was awesome.
He just had
I got
to.
one more, and then I got one.
Oh, my God. See?
Michigan State
beating Michigan.
That's all I have to say. We don't have to get into the games.
John O'Corn taking the L and then blaming
and the two
Levine
flops.
for his faults at U of H, apparently.
And two flops.
Yeah.
He flopped hard.
He flopped real hard.
Next, we're going to try and cruise with these questions, and we will get into these with you guys in just a second. So we have a couple of late entries, but we're still going to recover them. First comes from GMS Edits. This is a late entry, but the Houston versus Tulsa line is -11. Do you think we'll cover the spread?
Yes. It actually went up to 13.5. And yes, we will.
Yes.
Awesome. At Mo in Texas, what is the likelihood of Kyle Allen getting any more playing time this year?
Something happening to Kyle Postma?
Slim and none.
Something happening to Postma,
God
forbid.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's the only way.
Knock on wood.
Yep.
Awesome.
Is this Rich Mahogany?
I don't think it's Rich Mahogany.
I don't think so either.
Next is going to come from Philip Lee. I can say your name right this time.
There you go.
Whose playbook do you think we used against the Little Ponies? I love how he said Little Ponies.
Yeah, I did. I liked how he said that. I think we just got more production on the same play. We didn't run any different plays outside of the trick play. We still ran screens. We still ran.
Run the ball effectively, which really helped open up passing.
We were shredding their defensive line. Their defensive line is bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
I have to agree. Next, we're going to go to GMS Edits. Thank you for the question, but we're going to return to this. Rank the AAC by uniforms. We will leave that for our correspondent, UniWatch Max.
I actually told him about
to come
this.
on.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're going to be shocked by what my answers are. And I was like, he gave me one of them, and I was like, really?
Yep.
So tune in. Couple weeks, closer to the end of the season, now that we can see everybody's alternates
and all that stuff.
Because we're gonna have one for Memphis. I already know that.
Yeah.
USF, UCF will probably have one.
Exactly. Yeah. Next, we're going to go to a couple from Facebook from Coog's House. So thank you for everybody who posted those in there.
And also, don't forget to mention our new group.
Yes. So that's another touch on the Facebook. So we have gone ahead and created a group called Shock the World Army. It's an open group. You can go ahead and join. And basically, it's where we're going to be going and posting all of our stuff first. So before it goes onto our page, because we found, pages and Facebook groups are very different. If I post something on a Facebook page, it'll go up just like if it showed up on Holiday Inn's page or, any other business's page. It might show up in your timeline, but you're not going to necessarily find out about it. So what we did was create a group called Shock the World Army, and basically we're bringing in all our minions to basically fight the good fight.
Would our acronym be SWA, like Southwestern Airlines?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But
Whose idea was
basically,
that?
if you go in there, you get first notice onto all of our different posts. So
Which, you're that much cooler.
Exactly.
Trust me.
Plus,
Listen from the
you
experts.
get preferred access to answering questions on the show. So remember to join, and if you want, invite a friend. Please invite a friend. If you've got a friend that listens, maybe doesn't listen to the show but goes to all of your UH games and wants, this kind of content, they're always complaining about, oh, why don't I have this? Here's your answer. So
it's very and it's easy to explain it when you say, hey, I listened to a podcast for UH. Well, what do you mean? We're just a bunch of dudes who are diehard fans who want to give you a few talking points and make a couple jokes at each other.
Exactly.
And recap the game and preview the next game. I mean, that's literally all it is. I mean, we're not going to get you super, super statty. We're not going to, break down the ISO PPA rushing gain yards on the.
We're not going to have adult coloring books.
Yeah, we're not going to do any of that. So if you just want a couple guys to basically shoot the shit and have a couple beers, no beers tonight because we're responsible adults.
Exactly. No beer tonight. It is a work night.
It is a work night.
Indeed. So we'll, with that, we'll go ahead and jump onto our other fan questions that we were up on the Cougs House board. I think that's a private group, but if you know, ask us and we'll invite you to join.
At us, bro. At us.
At us. First is going to come from Jess Aiken, the third. How regal. Why do we let down in all of our games in the second half? That's a question we've been asking the entire season. What do you think?
I don't feel like this wasn't I don't feel like this was a let down in the second half.
No, not compared to previous weeks.
Right.
Sure.
It was a completely different playbook.
But we have talked about this before. It's the mindset. I don't think Major has that killer instinct, foot on the throat.
He says he wants to.
We've seen his attitude.
I like that we were going up tempo a lot in the first. I feel like kind of in the second half, we were just kind of let's just eat some clock.
I think we figured out, hey, we can control their offense.
Yeah.
We can make the turnovers where need be. Let's just be game clock. Let's play not to lose and still score some points.
Yeah,
because we did score in both quarters, didn't we?
I hate the play not to lose thing.
Yeah,
but it's very true. I mean, sometimes you can get in that mindset. And
it's tough. So next, we're going to go from Pete Mays. He has two questions, and we'll ask the first one first. What is up with attendance at the Coug game? What are the excuses that were coming up for not filling the seats?
Well, we kind of already touched on this.
We touched on that earlier. I think, there's no excuses.
There's no excuse. I think we just do not have the diehard. We don't have the diehard fan base, and it's going to take another 5 or so years of constant winning to get us to that point.
We're basically selling out Robertson right now, where we didn't used to sell out Robertson. If you think about it,
and we have a good home schedule for the next 5 years.
We do.
Yeah.
So
it's just gonna take time, guys.
It's a
not
different
gonna go
product,
overnight.
though, right? Like I feel like Herman was doing more to get butts in seats than Major.
I agree.
Was.
I think
he challenged fans more. He challenged students a lot more. He was out in Houston more.
Yeah,
out in the face of the community and kind of repping us, and he brought a lot of people to the games himself.
Right.
I think
we're not necessarily. I don't see that with Major.
I 100% agree, and I think that's something I'd really like to see from Major going on.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to go to Jess Aiken again. We had a larger crowd at the Rice game. We have to support the team. In all caps. Look at the Texas games. Even when they lost over the years, the stadium is packed. Why were you watching their games in the first place? We want to be a power conference. Fans have to show up.
Let's be real. We watched that game against Maryland.
Yeah, TV money is watching.
I wouldn't say Texas stadium is packed, though.
And it's funny. All of these questions are almost all about attendance, which is very interesting.
Which is good, because I'd rather be discussing attendance than why do we have a big fat L.
We lost support. It's going to take a while to gain them back. It's been...
It's just
nothing
going
new.
like this. I do feel that our average level though is right at 32,000.
And you're right. We are selling out Robertson Stadium right now.
Right.
We're selling out Robertson Stadium right now. So I'm okay with that per se, but it has to grow from there. It can't this has to be the absolute floor. We cannot go any lower than I better not hear 28,000 in the stadium ever.
No. And I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, like I said, I think this win will help win back some of those.
Right.
We go and take care of business against Tulsa. Who knows? Memphis could have a pretty decent crowd there.
I agree.
I think it's all we're not losing to those. I would say in-state. What do you want to call it, a rivalry? But peers at our same level.
Sure.
Essentially, I like peers.
Peers.
But you can't lose to those teams.
Here's another little tidbit: is there's not nearly as much press coming out right now about us because our practices are closed.
Yeah, that's true too.
Think about it that way.
And we don't have Herman in the news every other week talking about what P5 program he's going to go to.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's okay because you know what? All we do is win as of right now for the most part.
For the most part.
That's
besides to Texas Tech, who is now ranked. Yeah. So last question comes back from Pete Mays. Another question. There's an issue with fans complaining about it being too hot at the stadium. There are some energy-efficient efforts that have been used at other stadiums. Should UH be looking to this as well? I don't know about necessarily energy efficient, but some cooling areas possibly, if we have the money to spend on it. If we can get someone to be the I think it would be a great idea if we got some sort of cool air company like IMG is our ribbon board.
The money is not going anywhere to near that. First off, we run in the red. I don't know if anybody knows that, but we only raised $7 million in Cougar Pride, and last I checked, our bill for U of H athletics is $42 million.
Yeah.
So y'all do the math. It's just that simple. We just don't have the funds. Now, what I have suggested on plenty of forums, just put fans in the bathroom. Get the big industrial fan that we have. Put 2 of those in every single bathroom and let them just blow air. Well, no, the concourse isn't bad. Yeah. If you go up and behind us, it's not bad. It's the 200 level where all the people are. Right. That the air doesn't circulate on our side because of the concrete wall. So
because I haven't been up there that much. So.
You should. The lines are smaller.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. If you want to explore a little bit.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I think that's about it. Thank you, everybody, for your fan questions. We'll make sure to shout you guys out.
Yeah.
And I think with that, that's about it. I think we're all happy to see some different play calling this game than we've seen in the first couple of games. And
we just looked we looked a lot more convincing.
And we look like a team that is learned from their mistakes, in my opinion.
I agree.
Any touch-ups?
No, just make sure you check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, here on YouTube.
If you like the video, please make sure to like the video and subscribe if you don't already subscribe. Please do us a huge favor. Send the link to one of your Coug fans. Just go, click, share, put it out, and send it to somebody else that you think would like it.
Send us a comment on YouTube. I like seeing the comments on YouTube.
I love the comments.
Oh, boy.
It makes it I like the engaging on there.
We didn't like the Texas Tech comments, but
you know what? Whatever.
Comments are comments.
Haters are our motivators. Yes. That's all I got to say.
So thanks, guys. Make sure to check out the preview. We're going to go and upload that right after this. So I think that's about it.
That's it.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Wow. Go Stros.
Oh, God.
We're out.